Good evening. Welcome to the 2025 Living Landmarks celebration. I'm Peg Breen, president of the New York Landmarks Conservancy. The evening celebrates the city we love. It also celebrates dedicated New Yorkers who help preserve the city in their own special ways. It's also important to the Conservancy's ability to protect the iconic buildings and neighborhoods that are the heart and soul of this great city. We have a wonderful group of honorees this evening. But first, here's a brief look at how the Conservancy works to preserve and protect New York. The Landmarks Conservancy has preserved and protected New York for more than 50 years. We've loaned and granted more than $62 million through the years, contributing to more than $900 million in total restoration projects. We've worked on major emergencies. Our grants and technical assistance helped buildings in Lower Manhattan damaged on 9/11. We saved the survivor staircase at Ground Zero. It's now featured in the 9/11 Museum. After earlier superstorms, our emergency grants helped nonprofits repair damage and reopen. Our projects are throughout the city's diverse communities, often providing work for minority contractors. Our Sacred Sites grants help religious institutions of all denominations, many in underserved communities, with everything from conditions assessments to repairing roofs.
We saw that the roof had a big hole that we could actually look up into the heavens as we worshiped. And so we were not prepared for that.
We helped restore the roof on this lovely stone church in the High Bridge section of the Bronx. Reverend Cora Tate is grateful for the financial help, but she says our staff's support really made a difference.
The architect who was recommended to us was great, helped us walk through and make sure that everything was done correctly and we were able to finish on time.
In addition to maintaining a 136-year-old landmark, Reverend Tate has been helping the surrounding community with everything from free meals to counseling services to school supplies.
It's a good time to be the church because there are so many needs and we are just trying to help people.
Our loans are helping homeowners throughout the boroughs repair their buildings' exteriors. Arabella Powell is the president of this Jackson Heights co-op. Our staff found that the building parapet was in terrible shape.
The Conservancy was helpful in making us understand how we could recreate that, how we could make it safe, and how we could do it affordably.
In addition to providing a loan to restore it, we helped find the right contractors for the job. We also guided the co-op board through the city's cumbersome approval process.
So the staff were really integral in helping us get through all of the processes, all of those things that were completely foreign to us, but they're so familiar with that they made it so easy.
The work even finished ahead of schedule.
And they were so thrilled. We in fact had our co-op meeting on the roof so that we could all see it, but we couldn't be happier.
Landmarks are important to communities throughout the city. Historic districts are drawing cards for tech companies, women and minority-owned businesses. They attract residents and tourists alike. They also contribute to the city's quality of life and appreciation of our rich architectural history. The city's landmarks anchor us, reminding us that New York has come through difficult times before. We're proud to be the New York Landmarks Conservancy, and we'll continue to preserve the city we love. Thank you. And now, I am pleased to present the 2025 Living Landmarks.
The best thing about New York is Broadway and New Yorkers and bagels.
As former Mayor Bloomberg used to say, you don't kick off your shoes and lay back here in New York. You come here to do things. You come here to help change the world.
Bonnie Comley and Stewart Lane have made their mark on Broadway. Their productions have earned a slew of Tonys, Drama Desk, and other awards. People around the country and around the world watch Broadway shows through their streaming service, Broadway HD. Lane fell in love with Broadway at his first show, watching his best friend's father perform.
Good morning, I got it.
And the curtain goes up on a musical called Little Me, written by Cy Coleman and Neil Simon, starring Ricky's father, Sid Caesar. And I'm going, this is amazing. The audience is laughing, the orchestra is beautiful, the productions were terrific. Why would I want to do anything else?
Comley became enamored while covering Broadway as a reporter for Nightlife TV. She met Lane in the process.
He had all the right answers.
Apparently. I thought I was just being interviewed for the show. Obviously, it was a higher level.
Comley dubbed Lane Mr. Broadway for his encyclopedic knowledge of Broadway history. He's written books on the contributions of Jewish and African American playwrights and performers. The couple is also very aware of Broadway's impact on the city.
The economic impact of Broadway annually is close to $15 billion. In New York City, it's huge.
For all its excitement, Broadway is also risky. Lane took a gamble on a play he felt was socially meaningful, La Cage aux Folles.
People were telling me, a gay musical? It's a career killer. You're not going to get anyone to do that. And raising money was not easy. But we were able to do it, and it became a huge hit.
And the winner is La Cage aux Folles, music and lyrics by Terry Herman.
The play is Lane's favorite. Comley's favorite is the production of Glengarry Glen Ross that reopened the Palace Theater after a major renovation and restoration.
You want to preserve the history of Broadway, and you want to hear the history of New York. The whole renovation of the Palace Theater is a perfect example of blending the two together, where the interior of the theater was landmarked and gave us the opportunity to completely refurbish it to its 1913 glory days. But an advantage was that we were able to renew the guts of the theater as well.
Lane co-owns the legendary theater with the Nederlander Company. They oversaw a daring project that raised the theater 30 feet, restored the landmark interior, and enlarged and upgraded the back-of-house and customer amenities.
Well, there was a lot of nail biting during all of this because it is a landmark theater, because it is, Stu's baby, and he really wanted to make sure that this was going to be done as carefully as possible. So when they were lifting it up off of the street level and lifting it 30 feet into the air, it was done a fraction of an inch at a time and being monitored the entire time.
The project has been an award-winning success and a milestone in Lane's extensive theater career, which began in the 1970s.
Those were dark days, but now the transition of the entire industry from the 70s to today is amazing. I mean, truly a miracle that now we have, where we couldn't have enough shows to fill the categories at the Tony Awards, today we have shows running decades, grossing billions of dollars, employing lots of people, a really healthy industry. Very proud of that.
Both my grandparents, Esty and Joseph, were huge influences in my life. We had dinner with them every Friday night as a family, and we spent many, many vacations and quality time together as a family. And she really taught me the importance of hard work, passion, and dedication, and of course, loving New York City.
Aerin Lauder comes from a remarkable family of business people and philanthropists, led by her path-breaking grandmother, Estee Lauder.
At a very, very young age, I used to go to her desk and see these little fragrance samples and spray them on and look through her magazines of all the different Estee Lauder and Clinique ads. So it was always something I loved.
Lauder has made her own mark, rising to leadership in the family company and creating a personal lifestyle brand that is now found in 40 countries.
Took it very slowly, I grew it very organically, and I really followed my dream. And yes, you need a lot of courage and perseverance and drive, but I think with a wonderful team and a great group of support, and especially my family, who encouraged me to follow my dream, I've been able to accomplish something I think that I'm very proud of.
Lauder is also active on a number of boards, including the Metropolitan Museum, Boys Club of New York, and God's Love We Deliver.
Well, I've chosen the boards that I'm on based on really my passion and my interests. And I do feel that if I put my name on something or get involved with something, I want to do it 100%. And I think I've gotten that concept from my family, because everything that they're involved with, they do completely, 100% and wholeheartedly. So it really is organizations and institutions that I feel are important to both the city and to myself.
Lauder also thinks it's important to the city to preserve its iconic buildings and neighborhoods.
I think you always learn and are inspired by the past, and I think the wonderful juxtaposition of New York is that it has old and new mixed, and I think that's what makes it really special.
In fact, her office is in an iconic landmark.
So right now I'm sitting in the Fuller Building. You can hear all the noise around you. We're in the middle on 57th Street, and to me it is really the heart of New York City.
Lauder has written several books on various aspects of lifestyle. Researching one of them led her to fashion photographer Victor Skrebnevsky, who's noted for his Estee Lauder ad campaigns.
He said, I have this great picture of your grandmother, I don't know if you'd be interested in it. And he unrolled this huge, fabulous picture of her that to me, even though it was shot in 1974, it still feels just as modern. And I think it's really extraordinary. I always feel like she's watching over me.
The best thing about New York are the people, because we are a city of lots of different kinds of people, and it's changed over time. And the resilience of New York is a product of that change.
We're the capital of so many different industries. It's a fascinating city, and it's always changing. There's always interesting stuff to do.
Cynthia Wainwright and Steve Berger have done a lot of interesting stuff, and each is a lifelong New Yorker.
Because my roots are here, and I go back to the Dutch on both sides. I'm a direct descendant of Peter Stuyvesant, and the Bowery was the name of his farm and the entrance to his farm. It got me interested in the history of the city of New York.
I grew up on the Lower East Side, and I lived on a block that was heavily Jewish. The next block was Irish, block Italian, and the projects were then Hispanic. So I grew up in a small town, in a sense, with all different kinds of folks.
Steve has held a number of important government positions, but one was the most satisfying.
It's not close. It was the fiscal crisis of the city, and I was executive director of the Emergency Financial Control Board, and we had a city whose management was totally incompetent, but the city was strong underneath. And so the control board, with the help of the governor, really helped fix the infrastructure of the city. It was by far the most important thing I've ever done. And what we did has lasted 50 years to this day.
Cynthia helped found the Historic House Trust and supports other preservation groups.
It is important. It gives people a sense of place, a sense of belonging. Whether they're in an old neighborhood, it helps us live better.
She enlisted her husband to the cause.
Preservation is important because in the end, we are still a city of small towns. And what preservation does is keeps those roots alive.
Each also serves on boards devoted to education and culture.
I just think being engaged in whatever is one's own way is important and rewarding, but also important for the city.
Steve is board treasurer for the Metropolitan Opera.
I'm on boards where I end up wrestling with budgets and financial issues and figuring out how to either raise money or spend less. The opera is very important to me, and it's very important for the city of New York.
Despite all their mutual interests, they have different ideas of having fun.
I enjoy solving problems. It's what I do, but it's energizing for me.
For the first time, tried pole dancing the other day and loved it. Intend to do it again.
It's obvious the couple are dedicated New Yorkers. Would they ever leave?
Not me.
Nah.
This place has an attraction. It is compelling, it is intoxicating, it is addictive. To be a New Yorker puts you in the firmament of a rare group of people who occupy the planet.
Darren Walker is a leading member of that rare group. His career in New York began in law and finance, but he left that to help lead the Abyssinian Development Corporation's efforts to restore and revitalize Harlem. He went on to become vice president of the Rockefeller Foundation before becoming president of the Ford Foundation 12 years ago.
I wasn't interested in a career in philanthropy. I'm still not interested in a career in philanthropy. I was intrigued and excited by the opportunity that philanthropy provides to have impact, to advance social progress, and to expand opportunity for people across this country and indeed across the world.
Walker has done that, expanding the role of philanthropy. Recently, he rallied other organizations to dedicate funds for public broadcasting following recent federal cuts. Earlier, he helped rescue Detroit from bankruptcy.
So being involved with bringing a resolution of that bankruptcy, saving the museum, saving the pensions of so many retirees of the city was absolutely the most rewarding and exciting moment of my tenure.
Walker also healed a rift between the foundation and the Ford family. A family member is again on the foundation board. The foundation is housed in a landmark building designed by Kevin Roche with one of the first interior gardens. Walker also updated it as well.
But it was a very hierarchical building. It was very much a building of its time. We've opened the building, we've created an art gallery, we make possible our grantees and nonprofits' use of the building, and it's become in many ways an even greater civic treasure as a result.
Walker believes preserving our landmark buildings and neighborhoods is vital.
Our culture is our greatest asset. And as we look at our culture, the thing that manifests that more than anything are the buildings. We have to have a preservation ethic in this city if New York is to continue to be New York.
Walker is retiring from the Ford Foundation this year. He says he doesn't know what his next chapter will be, but his home will always be New York.
It has given me a life I could never have imagined. As that boy living in a little shotgun shack on a dirt road in rural East Texas, I could never even have dreamed of this place called New York at that time. And yet here we sit. I am enormously grateful to live in what is absolutely the most vibrant and exciting city in the world.
We all inherently know we want to keep these old spaces. We love them. They're beautiful. You can't build this anymore. The craftsmanship isn't here anymore.
Mark called me.
And I called him after I came to look at a studio space here. First of all, I saw the building and just thought it was spectacular.
Award winners Mark Ruffalo and Kenneth Lonergan are longtime friends. They've worked together on Broadway and in film. For the past few years, they've spearheaded efforts to save the landmarked West Park Presbyterian Church on the Upper West Side.
The building has a culture that's inherently palpable when you enter it. Everyone who's entered it has had the same reaction. Kenny had the same reaction I did. It's like, oh my God, this is incredible. We have to save this.
The two attracted a remarkable group of fellow stars. They've spoken at rallies, staged play readings, and discussed their films. They generated support and media attention for saving West Park, as well as the nonprofit cultural center within it.
We just had this idea to start doing theater and film here because we know a lot of people at this point. And a lot of people who love to do theater and love to do it without charging a lot of money for it. So we started getting our friends involved and doing readings, and Debbie got some film equipment and screening equipment, and now we've been doing films and readings and productions and presentations for the last 2 years, I'd say. All beautifully attended, and the word thriving comes to mind.
It was amazing how quickly people wanted to jump in.
The church has a robust history to match its lovely Romanesque revival architecture. God's Love We Deliver started here. Joseph Papp founded the Public Theater during meetings in the balcony. Because the center rented space to several other nonprofits, West Park became a cultural incubator for the city.
The arts are an economic driver for all businesses that are associated, that are around them. Everybody knows this, the restaurant business, services industry, the tourism, everything. But you can't have arts if you don't start cultivating the younger artists. And Mark and I both started out in, doing off-Broadway 30 years ago in spaces like this.
The Cultural Center lost its lease this past summer and had to move. Now, the Presbytery is asking the city's permission to tear down the landmark so a developer can build market-rate housing on the site.
Even in a packed locality like Manhattan, you don't need to tear down one of the few remaining 19th century churches to find room for housing.
I mean, 99% of the real estate that's available in New York City is not landmarked.
And the end.
Yeah, the end.
The Presbytery cites declining membership and claims the building is crumbling as reasons to tear it down. But independent engineers say the building is remarkably sound and eminently fixable. The city's Landmarks Preservation Commission is expected to hear arguments on the fate of the church later this month.
If you keep wrecking the past every time you start over, it's just like putting yourself back at the starting line again and again and again, and it just doesn't make sense in any way.
This is just something so special, and people come from all over the world. And we think we're just getting rid of a church on a corner. But you multiply that by 10, by 20, and New York City's completely lost what we all love about it. New York will be terribly diminished if we can't save these treasures.
Thank you for coming and for another great evening. Please know, the Conservancy will continue to fight to preserve and protect this city. As we all know, New York is worth fighting for. Good night.